It's time for, hello, a Jersey Shore recap podcast.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of, hello, I am Cookie.
And I'm GWOW. Together we're Cookie and GWOW, your hosts of this amazing episode by episode Jersey Shore recap podcast.
And let's just say this episode was a little wild.
Oh yeah, episode 5 of season 2. It's called The Letter, but you know it, you love it as The Note. Which is, it's hilarious that Sammy put it through a whole rebrand.
She's the first one to call. I think she's the first one to call it The Note, and then it became that going forward.
Yep, it was all The Letter until it was in Sammy's hands, and then it became The Note. She only called it The Letter once. Everything else, it was The Note.
So we jump straight into it, and the girls are telling Angelina that it's written, it's ready to be posted, and she again, as we saw last week, is completely trying desperately to remove herself from it, and nobody called her out for it, but she's like, I didn't see anything. I didn't say anything. Like, girl, yes, you did. Everything we wrote in the note, you said.
Everybody knows that there's a bomb about to explode and nobody wants to be any part of lighting it. But I feel like nobody's innocent. Like, the girls aren't innocent. Angelina's not innocent. But why are they all taking blame for something that's literally Ronnie's fault?
And you know what? We were talking about it a little bit right before we started, that we remember this differently than it actually is. I think seeing it through adult eyes, or maybe having a lot of retrospect, makes it seem different. When I first watched it, I was in high school still, and I definitely thought Sam was in the wrong, because I was like, they tried to help you and you didn't take the help. And now in retrospect, I feel like everybody's wrong but Sam. They wronged her on such a, like, maybe she didn't handle it the best way she could have, but they fucked her over.
Well, they did, but I feel like I don't say that Sammy's the only one who's not in the wrong. I think she's just so traumatized that I feel like she doesn't know how to deal with anything. So looking at this through adult eyes, I literally just feel so bad, and I'm so confused why production didn't do more to help her, or offer for her to have a break, because I just feel like she was literally dealing with psychological trauma where she doesn't know what's real, what's false, and there's cameras everywhere, so she's to be on 24/7. Everything she's getting asked is being recorded. She knows it's going to be publicized. That's so much to deal with, on top of just a guy that she's in love with.
Well, at the time, we weren't having the conversation that we are now necessarily about gaslighting.
Yeah.
Sam was being gaslit from every angle.
Down, and sideways.
Every person was making her feel crazy, because she went to all 7 people in the house, and I didn't see anything. I wasn't even there that night. I can't even imagine. The poor girl must feel like she's in some Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to keep this in or not, but when I was in college, I was in a sorority, and there was this whole, I don't even know what to call it, this Gina takedown for some reason, where everybody wanted me to be out, but nobody would tell me anything in my face. And all these meetings and things were happening behind my back, and I had no idea. And then eventually they held a meeting where they kicked me out. And when I talked to everybody after, everyone pointed fingers oh, no, it wasn't my idea. It was this person's idea. No, it was that person's idea. And it was the craziest thing. And this is a sorority, so girls are nuts. And they literally held a meeting where the topic was me, and I was not allowed to attend. And so that was a lot of trauma. And I still am mildly convinced that everybody in my life is conspiring against me at all times, but it's totally fine. I talk about it in therapy. So I kind of feel for Sam in this moment, because I feel like based on what I went through in college, I'm just yeah, when you don't know what's real, you don't know who to trust, but you're just stuck there, and you're this is my life though. I'm here. What the fuck are you supposed to do?
Oh my God. What do? You just, I
went to therapy.
There you go. But I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I like I said, I just really feel for Sammy here, because these people, even the girls that are supposed to be her friends, are lying to her. Even Paulie, who's low-key the most mature one in the house. Mike's kind of the only one, and we're probably jumping a little bit ahead here, so sorry. But Mike's kind of the only one who like starts to give it to her straight. And like I said, maybe we're jumping ahead and we should backtrack before we get too excited.
Yeah, we'll talk about Mike later because there is a sweet moment that sort of happens at the beginning of the episode where Snooki and Jenny go to a gay pride club. That's fun.
I think it was like last season we talked about how we're two gays who love Jersey Shore. So to see them with the gays was super fun. They were like, it's gay pride week in Miami.
And it's one of those things where sometimes when you look back at old media like this, you could see like maybe the language isn't quite right, but I appreciate the intent and where they're coming from. I felt like they really just loved the gays, and they were. I actually have a little audio. I thought this was funny.
Gay pride, yay!
That's it.
Gay pride, yay! That's hilarious. Well, then they go back from their gay pride night. Snooki calls Emilio, who is absolutely problematic and homophobic. And
what the fuck is wrong with Emilio? Every time we've ever heard from him this entire season, he's just got a horrible attitude and is being an asshole.
He's chaotic as fuck.
Like she'll call him and be like, hi. And he's like, what the fuck? Like, he's instantly mad. What does she see in him?
I have no idea. Well, she breaks up with him immediately after he's being crazy. And good, to hell with him. And she does get sad. Her and Jenny have a little moment on the boardwalk, or they go for a walk, I guess, at some point. They have a little moment where Snooki cries. But girl, you are better without him. I promise.
One last thing that he said that bothered me. She was saying, you know, I'm sitting here missing you. I'm sitting here thinking about you. Every time I call you, it's a problem. And then when she's about to hang up on him, the last thing he says is, I don't miss you. I don't miss you.
Yeah, he's an asshole. And he's saying things just to get under her skin because he's a dick.
Well, we have another moment. This is a parallel to last season where Mike and Paul bring home some girls.
Yes.
But Mike forgets that he had set up some backup girls, and I guess he forgot to cancel the backups because 2 more girls show up. So now they've got 4 girls.
But this was really funny because he was like, he basically treated this like a military plan. He was like, okay, we have this here and here stationed. We have a station in Vonnie's room. We have a station in Vinny's bed. Here's the plan. You two go in here. I'm going to go in, defuse the bomb, sneak out my girl into the other room. Okay, break. And it literally happens.
He is really fucking funny. Mike knows how to be funny. Mike is so funny. He seems funnier this season than last season. I don't know. Maybe I just like him more this season.
I do too, actually. I think he's chilled out and he is kind of funny. And he calls the smush room the smash room.
I feel like, is this where we're starting to call it the smush room?
Well, he called it the smash room. So we're like, I mean, I think it becomes the smush room, but this is where it starts. Guest room, the smash room, the smush room.
Yeah. I love how we could after years of knowing all these quotes and lines, it's cool to see them like get set up.
Come to fruition, yeah.
The one shitty thing, and we won't harp on about it because we've had this conversation enough times on this podcast, but Mike does call one of the girls a hippopotamus, which I don't appreciate.
Yeah, that was aggressive for sure.
But we've already stated our opinion about that kind of thing, so we don't need to go on about it. But so the scheme, the little scheme actually works.
It does.
But he's not slick about it. He brings both girls into the room, tucks one of the girls in, and then says, okay, let's go to the other girl. And
yeah, but they kind of leaned into it because the one girl was like, I'm really tired. So I kind of wonder if that's one of the things where it's like, I don't want to go to his house alone. I don't want to go to the, with the cameras alone. And she's like, I'll come with you, but I'm not hooking up with anybody. And then they probably left the room and the 2 girls are like, okay, what's the plan? And if I were the quote unquote hippopotamus, like if I were her, if I were the grenade in the situation, and my friend wanted to get laid, I would definitely be like, I'm just going to pretend like I'm going to sleep and y'all do whatever. So then I feel like they kind of had that set up. And then when Mike came back in and was like, you come with me, the girl was already like, yeah, I'm tired. I'm going to go to sleep. Like she, as much as they were giving her shit for being the ugly friend or whatever, she was a good ass friend.
And Mike is lucky that she was like that because it's just so funny because he plays this like he's like a 007 kind of suave guy. Oh, we're gonna do this and do this, and then it's just okay. You go to bed. We're gonna leave. He's not slick at all.
It's kind of almost awkward, but like the girls I feel like are just like ha and go with it. I don't know. It's like very hetero too.
Well, I think this is a good place to take a break. Do you agree?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, we'll be right back.
Very.
Can't get enough of hello?
Never.
Well, check us out on social media. We're on Instagram and TikTok at hello pod.
And if you are listening to us, but you'd rather be watching, you can go to patreon.com/hello. There's also going to be tons of bonus content, including bonus episodes and behind the scenes, like how I got my Snooki pove.
And last but not least, if you're a brand or you just want to give us money, send us an email, a professional email at hellopod@gmail.com.
All right, let's get back to the show already.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
We're back.
Yes, we are. And we're about to get into the drama. Almost.
It starts though with Angelina, which I'm kind of tired of her drama because I feel like she just has an attitude for no reason. She's supposed to clean. She doesn't want to. She gives everyone attitude.
Well, okay. So what happens is she's supposed to be doing the dishes and she's just sitting on the phone. The guys
And her conversations aren't even good. Like she's boring to listen to.
She just sits there like, hey, what are you doing? I'm bored. No, I'm bored. I'm just
What are you
sitting
doing
here bored.
now? What did you buy? What flavor?
That's like when you're a kid and you call your friend and you just sit there and just say nothing and you're just like,
Yeah.
So anyway, you're just like bored together. Did you ever do that as a kid? You just sit on the phone for like 5 hours bored together?
100%. Yeah, I still do it with my friends just on FaceTime from the other side of the country.
So Mike and Angelina get in a big fight and Mike says she's no longer welcome at family dinner, but he feels bad and he invites her back and he tries to apologize. And she's still kind of being
She's
bitchy,
so
which is so
aggressive.
funny. Like he's trying to apologize, and she's just like, "Yeah, well, you were in the wrong, so you should be apologizing." Like that's her attitude, which is so funny.
It's
to me.
annoying.
Why is she that way? Like she's like
Aggressive.
I couldn't imagine living with her.
No, she's just like always on like attack mode. I don't know. But dinner ends up being okay. So they have dinner and Snooki's a little sad because of Emilio being a little bitch. And she kind of walks out with a picture frame and Jenny knows exactly what's happening. She's like, are you going to burn all his stuff? And she's like, yeah. And you know what's so funny? On my other podcast, we had talked about being friends with your ex on one of our episodes and how like it's very easy as a queer person. I don't know if you do this to like stay friends with your ex. So I have tons of memorabilia still from my exes because I don't know, like it's fine. And Snooki's not that way. She's like, no, he's gone, burn it, gotta get him out, block, delete, see ya.
That's how I am too. My ego is too big. My ego is too. I guess it depends, but especially if I like get dumped or it ends in a big fight, my ego will not allow me to ever see that person in a good light again. Forever, they will be a horrible person in my mind.
I think the way it ends is really important because that is big distinction.
I think this moment is kind of funny though because the entire house goes out and like circles around Snooki as she's burning photos.
Her hype crew.
I loved it.
So they all go to bed. I think that's how the night ends. And well, actually, it ends with the girls putting the letter in the drawer. So they're kind of they put the bomb down.
And let me just
nothing's, happening yet, but it's been placed.
They must have been so stressed because my heart was beating watching it.
Jenny even says that she didn't sleep all night. And she was like, I kind of wish we did it in the morning because I couldn't sleep all night. Every time I heard anything, I was like, is it the drawer? Like they were anxious.
But luckily they don't have to confront Sam in the morning and they get to just go to work.
Yep. Because Snooki, Jenny, and Mike are the ones who go to work.
Right.
Sammy wakes up and finds the note. And I feel like she acts kind of calm, but I feel like it's because she's literally had like fight after fight after lie that she's just like, so what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's so it doesn't even phase her at any point. Like she's numb to it because it's just happened so much. So she's just like, okay, here's the next thing. Here's this note that says everything. And she doesn't freak out. She's just like, huh.
Well, and you know what, though? I think she might also just be in a state of shock because it was so like she was just minding her business. I think she just woke up and suddenly she finds a note detailing all these horrible things. I don't know. Because, do you ever have that moment where you find out about something horrible somebody did and you're immediately calm, but like it takes like 2 days for you to be freaked out? Does that ever happen to you?
Sort of. See, like when I was trying to break up with my one ex, who I refer to as the mistake, there was so much leading up to me wanting to break up with him that then my one friend like kind of dropped what should have been a big bomb on me. But because there was just so much I was already so pissed at him about, I was just like, yeah, you know what? Add it to the list. Like it didn't phase me as much as it should have. And if that had been like, if we'd been great and then she told me that, I would have flipped fucking shit. But because everything was already a dumpster fire, I was just like, what's one more flame? Throw the brick into the pot, like throw the log back on the fire. Go ahead. It was just like very that.
Well, I remember my very first breakup ever. Like it was my first real relationship. I mean, and we've been together for a year. We even lived together, and I got home one day from work and he was all acting all weird. And so finally he dropped this bombshell on me that he had been dating somebody, that he had been like emotional. I don't know if they physically cheated, but he had been emotionally cheating.
Okay.
And basically was like, you know, and I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So like within like 20 minutes, I found out I've been emotionally cheating on you. And I think I want to break up with you, or I think we're done. And I went to work the next day. And me and my mom, actually, we met up for lunch and we were just hanging out, just eating Wingstop. And like 10 minutes into it, she mentioned him and I was like, oh, we broke up last night. Like, it was just so in my mind, I was like, whatever.
Sometimes I feel like you have to compartmentalize. It's almost like a defense mechanism. And it's just like a thing where you're just like, yep, this is happening. And it's like that meme where everything's on fire in the background and the dog's just like, this is fine. Everything's fine.
That's like an evolutionary like biology thing to think to keep you safe. I think it was my very first breakup. So I was like, this is easy. What is everyone always going on about it with the crying and it's too much. It's so easy to break up. Look, I just did it last night and it's fine. And it literally took, I would say like a full week for it to like hit me. Cause for like a week,
like, oh,
I would get home and I'd smoke weed. I'd watch movies. I was in a great mood. I was like, I'm glad to have the apartment to myself. And then finally, like a week later, I was like, oh shit, that fucking sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like Sammy's in this weird cloud of like not even knowing what to think, what to do. And she has that kind of just like, okay, this is what's next. And she's at this point, she's actually kind of like her head's actually kind of on straight. Like she kind of gets it at this point. She asks Paulie, he denies it. And she's like, no, I just know that they're gonna stick up for, you know, their boy. She was like, I can't imagine that this note isn't true. And before she confronts Ron, Vinny tries to tell Ron, and in doing so, does this like charade across the lunch table. It's like, note, Sammy. Like, I'm like, and Ronnie like gets it somehow. I'm like, did they cut out all the parts where Ron's like, what the fuck are you doing?
And you know what? And he was whispering, which I hate when people whisper on reality shows.
Yeah.
Because those little microphones, it just sounds so horrible.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. And then the famous last words from Ronnie. He walks in, he sits down with Sam, he sees the note and he says, what's that? And in that moment, everything changes.
At this moment, she's still calm, though, which is crazy. I thought that once Ron confronted her, once they started talking, it would immediately blow up into a huge fight. But it actually started pretty calm, scarily
he gets
calm.
Pissed more than she should be the one that's mad, but he actually gets mad because he's just like, who the fuck did this? Who doesn't have my back? And it's like, you're the evil person. Why are you mad for everyone else not covering for you?
And he's
interesting move.
He's doing something interesting, which is where he's admitting it. He's admitting to the things that he feels like he could get away with.
Yes.
And he's denying the parts that he feels like are, there's no coming back from.
Well, I'm glad you said what he can get away with, because he thinks he can talk his way out of it. He's still laughing in confessionals. It's all fucking joke to him.
I have to say, this was not, this episode is pretty dark.
Yeah.
And this moment is pretty dark, but I have to admit it's a little funny that Sam was asking, did you make out with somebody? And he's saying no. And he kept cutting back to him making out and back and forth. I thought that was a funny moment.
It sucks because, like, on one hand, it's exposing Ron for the cheater that he is. Yeah. It's also edited in a way that's funny, but it does suck for Sammy because if I were her, I would just keep thinking like I look so stupid. Like that sucks to have to like be in that situation. And then like how the fuck do you know what's real? Angelina's denying everything. Like Ronnie's denying most things. He goes back and forth too between what he's admitting and what he's lying. Like he's saying like, I did do this, but I didn't do that. And he's so fucking manipulative because she's not even saying things. He's just like yelling in circles. And then he starts yelling at her like, every night I come home to you and I'm doing this for you and I wake up with you and you don't even see that. And it's like, well, yeah, because you're making out with half of Miami.
You know what's funny that he uses that as a defense? Oh, I end up with you.
It's manipulative. It's so abusive.
Well, he's using that as a defense as if that's not what part of the problem is that he makes out with girls and he hooks up and then he gets into bed with her. That is the problem.
That's like a thing that people will say is it's like a toxic thing that people say of like, well, I'm coming home to you. Like, so as if that means, oh, you're my priority. But it's like, no, you're just that's so taking advantage of that person and walking all over them. It's so horrible.
Well, we cut back to Jenny and Snooki at work and they make really honestly a stupid decision. They decide to call the house.
That was stupid. That was really stupid.
I guess their reasoning was they wanted to talk to Angelina to see if Sam had read the note. But of course, Sam answers.
Duh.
I mean, what the fuck were they thinking?
Because Sam immediately is like, I found this note. Did you guys write it? And she said, this is the only time she says letters. She's like, did you write me a letter? And what do you think would have happened if the girls had said yes?
Oh, I don't know.
Because I don't know that there was any way that Sam wasn't going to be pissed at everybody. Yeah. But I feel like if maybe in that first minute, they said, yes, we just found everything out and we didn't know how to tell you. And so we did. Then I don't know if I don't know, because at some point, Sammy is like, I appreciate whoever wrote this. Obviously, he's saying some things in the letter are true. So it's all definitely true. I feel like if they had come clean, things might have been more salvageable, but everyone's lying to Sam. So she's just like, what the fuck? Like, what is happening?
Yeah. And I guess they felt like they were in too deep. And so, but they should have just admitted it.
I think they really, really wanted her to think production wrote it.
Did we have that conversation last week about them hoping she would blame it on production?
Yeah, we talked about that in why they wrote the note and like why they use certain language and things. Yeah. But nobody like suggests it like in the whole who wrote the note, GTF, Jim Tanning, find out who wrote the note. That's what they say. Like in that whole thing, it's the only suspects are castmates. There's no talk of like, what if it wasn't one of us? Like that wasn't even brought up. I guess because they are probably instructed not to talk about production or the cameras. But in this instance, it seems like they just want to blame someone else in the house.
And it seems like from the very beginning, the moment the note is discovered, everybody always kind of has an inclination that it's Jenny and Snooki. Why do you think that is?
Only because they know none of the guys are going to tell on Ron, or at least I don't think they think so. And so if it's going to be the girls, I don't think they think Angelina is liked enough to be involved in anything. Yeah. And so that just only leaves, I think it's more like process of elimination.
Yeah. That's why they weren't really smart about the way they did it, because it is kind of obviously them.
Yeah, and they're gonna come home and have more fights blow up, but they hang up with Sam from the shop. And before they go home, do you want to take a little break?
I think we should.
Okay, be right back.
Hey everybody, do you want to hear more queer voices or maybe just more of Gina? Well, I'm Cheyenne from Hot Messian.
And I'm Seb, and we're Gina's co-host from her other podcast, Sapphic Survival Guide. Each week, we cover a new topic in the queer universe and answer all the questions that you want to know.
Yeah, so after you're done listening to this episode, of course, pop on over to Sapphic Survival Guide wherever you listen to podcasts. Hello. So we're back, and Sammy is freaking out a little bit now, and the girls come home They read the note alongside Mike, who's laughing really at the note, probably because of the way it's written, because it's like he put his head in cocktail waitress's breast. He made out with fat chicks. So he's like more laughing at what's in the note. And the girls are like, stop, we're trying to like be serious. Like, we don't want her to know it's us. Like, so it was kind of a funny moment, but Sammy's like, this isn't fucking funny. Like,
and Mike's defense, it's fucking funny. It's a funny note.
It is funny, but like in Mike's defense, he's pretty much the only one who's saying, yeah, what's in the note is true. Like, she's like, is this true? And he's like, what does the note say? If it's in the note, it must be true. And so like, as much as Mike's like not taking this seriously, he's the only one giving her any answers. At this point too, she's looking in the confessionals and she's like saying, I can't believe him. I can't be with him. And Ronnie's like pissed at everybody else for selling him out.
He had to have known this was coming, right? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, what do you expect?
Everybody in the house, and he knew everybody in the house knew. He knew that everybody but Sam knew. There was no way that this was gonna not blow up in his face.
And you know what? Even if nobody said anything, did you forget you're on a television show and eventually she'd watch it? So what was your end game?
Maybe he was hoping he'd at least have the rest of this season. You know what I mean? Like, I think he knew if they came back for season 3, there'd be a lot of drama, but maybe he hoped that he could just have this one last summer.
So you think he knew it wasn't sustainable on some level? Because I don't know. He seems like he really thought it was just going to be fine for him forever.
You know what? There's no getting into that head of Ron's. He just operates on a whole different wavelength than the two of us do. And I don't think we could ever understand. I think we could sit and try to, why does he do this? Why did he say that? There's just no way of knowing.
That's true. And the episode ends with Ron. First, he's very, very aggressive. He's yelling at Sam, like, tell me now if you want this. Tell me if you want this or no. Tell me if you want this or no. It's so weird and crazy and toxic. And then he's like, all right, well, and he's done this before just at clubs. Instead, he's at the house and he's like, all right, well, if we're over, I'm going to go. He pulls out his phone book and he calls might be his ex-girlfriend. She's listed as his hometown hottie. And he's then starts flirting the fuck with her.
This is the moment, the switch from arguing with Sam and the tone in his voice to then being like, hey, what's up on the phone? Like, the whole thing felt so sinister and manipulative.
Yeah.
And
it was
then
scary.
It makes me wonder what was going on, because were Sam and Ron broken up between season 1 and 2? I can't remember.
Yeah, they broke up on the reunion, remember?
Oh, that's right.
So they were together for a little bit after the show, then they broke up on the reunion, and they were broken up when they got to the house.
Okay, so they broke up during the reunion, and then they got back together at the beginning of season 2. So they had a period where they weren't together. So was Ron like dating this girl again? Because she calls him babe when they hang up. She goes, okay, bye, babe.
Maybe, or maybe she's like an ex from before, or maybe he was cheating on her the whole time. Like, I have no idea. But what's annoying, and again, with the switch that you just mentioned, he's all like, oh, hey, babe, whatever. And he's all like, talk like, oh, I'm going to go call some girl because fuck Sam. Sam walks up and he immediately lies and is like, no, it's TJ. It's fine. It's TJ. Oh, big and bad, like fuck her. But then when she catches you, you're going to lie again. You're doing everything that they said you did in the note. You're just doing it again.
I know, exactly.
I don't understand.
Exactly. Like, he's trying to deny what he's being accused of, but then goes and does it literally 5 seconds later. It's bizarre.
Really wild. It makes no sense to me. And then they finally like break up. Oh, I mean, I shouldn't say finally. Then they break up for now, and they go to sleep in separate beds, and everybody goes to sleep, and the house feels quiet, and it feels at the end of the episode like the drama is over for now, but we know it's so far from over.
And I will say at this point, although everyone does suspect Jenny and Snooki, it is not confirmed, and Sam still has not decided officially it was them. And so they haven't completely, like, as a friend group, started fighting yet.
Yeah.
But Sam definitely knows. And I do think it's funny though that there's a point where Sam confronts Jenny and is like, did you write this note? What do you think? And Jenny says,
Do whatever you gotta do. I'm not getting involved, but
I'm not getting involved.
She's trying to play it off again, like, oh, I didn't write it. It's your business. It sucks because, like, okay, I get wanting to take that approach, but I do feel like, yeah, y'all were her friends. And at this point, it's gone on so long.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Well, we've reached the end of this episode, and the next one is going to be even crazier.
It is. And the cookie quote I pulled for this episode is a nice little Sam and Ron fight. Nothing, too crazy, but it's kind of hilarious, like Sam's level of dramatics, which is why I pulled it. Who would you like to be? Who would you like your character to be?
Ooh, let's see. You do, Sam.
Okay, I'll do it.
I'm gonna give you the starring role this time. I'll take it.
Okay.
I'll do a supporting role. We can both, you can win best actor and I can win best supporting actor. It'll be perfect.
Amazing.
Okay.
Okay.
Sam.
You should probably leave me alone.
What?
You should probably never talk to me ever again.
You're gonna do this? You can't talk to me like a normal human being?
Why do you deserve the right to be talked to?
Amen.
And scene. True, girl.
And she should have stuck to that. She should have kept
I
that mentality
know.
throughout the rest of the season, girl.
If only. Well, there's a lot left to get into. The season of The Note. I know we're in Miami, but really this is the season of The Note. But all right,
we'll see you
with
next
that,
time.
Goodbye.
Hello.
No, goodbye.
Bye. If you want more of the podcast, you can follow us on any social media at Hello Pod.
We also have a Patreon, patreon.com/hello. We've got a video feed there so you can see our beautiful faces while we recap Jersey Shore. And we've also got a little bit of behind the scenes bonus content for you.
And you can find me anywhere online at The Libregina, including my website, thelibregina.com.
And you can find me online on TikTok and Instagram at angel.iconic.music.
Thanks for listening.
Bye.